Greetings, Boogie fans! Michael here, and about 2 months ago, I made a video called my Ultimate Pokemon Tier List. A list of tier lists covering various categories of Pokemon. Specifically, these categories. You guys seemed to really like that video, so I decided to make a second installment, the Super Ultimate Pokemon Tier List, focusing on Pokemon categories that I didn't cover in the first video. Before I get started though, here are some quick important notes about the tier lists in case you didn't see the last video or just forgot. Number 1 is that these tier lists are based entirely on my personal opinion toward these Pokemon. It has nothing to do with battle prowess or strength, unless that Pokemon's battle prowess or strength affected my opinion on it. Number 2 is that these are the approximate meanings for each of these tiers, and number 3 is that the ordering within a particular tier is meaningless. It's actually supposed to be Pokedex order, unless I made a mistake. So now that I've covered that, don't forget to drop a like on the video. It's very supportive of me. And let's dive into the first tier list, that being Mega Evolutions that were introduced in Pokemon X and Y. There were way too many Mega Evolutions to fit onto one picture, so I had to split them up into multiple tier lists. Mega Mewtwo X is just plain ugly. It's just a deformed version of Mewtwo. Mega Mewtwo Y is worse. They took Mewtwo's butt and put it on its head. Mega Ampharos is just Ampharos with long hair. So basically the same situation as a Alolan Dugtrio, meaning they are both extremely dumb. I feel like they could have done more with Mega Blastoise than just alter its gun setup and make it more hunched over. Mega Kangaskhan is alright, but I would have liked to see the mother's appearance change as well, not just the kids. Mega Aerodactyl just has spikes added to it. If I didn't have a bit of sentimental attachment to it due to using one in a draft league a couple years ago, it would be in D tier. Mega Scizor is alright, but I feel like it's gotten too far away from a bug and too close to being just a robot. I wish Mega Heracross's horn layout changed just a bit to make it look less like a garden gnome. I've never really been a fan of regular Medicham, so Mega Medicham, just being a regular Medicham with more clothes, definitely isn't going to be an improvement for me. I see where they were trying to go with Mega Abomasnow, but they made it too busy, messy, and confusing. All of the B tier Megas are ones that I think look solid, but are held back from me really liking them due to being different forms of Pokemon that I was indifferent to in the first place, or having a flaw that I think holds them back. For example, Mega Gyarados should have been Water Dragon, and Mega Absol should have been Dark Fairy. If those two Megas had those typings, they would probably be an A tier. Mega Venusaur is a cool and logical buffed up version of Venusaur, and I've really enjoyed using it in battles in the past. Mega Gengar is terrifying and cool, but its shiny is what makes me really like it. Mega Pinsir is a horrifying mess, which is exactly what a Mega Bug Pokemon should be. Mega Houndoom looks like the king of the Hellhounds, which is perfect for it. Mega Mawile is pretty cool looking, and I love how they took a pretty much useless Pokemon and made it one of the strongest in the game. It was also very fun for me to use back in VGC 2014. Mega Bayonet's premise of the evil energy inside of it spilling out through the zippers is super unsettling and really cool. Mega Garchomp looks like they took one of the most fearsome looking Pokemon out there, then did everything they could to make it look as horrifically murderous as possible, and then made its shiny pink. That is amazing. Mega Charizard X was my favorite Mega for a long time, since I adored the blue and black color combo, and it was so dope to see it finally become a dragon. Mega Charizard Y is also excellent. While X takes Charizard in a completely different but fun direction, Y takes the already great design of Charizard and makes it look sleeker and more combat ready. It's awesome. And Mega Lucario is a fantastic advancement of Lucario. Much like Mega Charizard Y, it looks more fearsome and sleek, and I love the addition of red to its color scheme. Now for the Mega Evolutions introduced in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which unfortunately, overall, I tend to like less. Mega Slowbro looks silly and stupid. If anyone likes it, it is because it looks silly. Megas aren't supposed to look silly. I love regular Swampert, but Mega Swampert looks like a meathead who has only ever worked out upper body for the last 20 years to the point of not even having a neck anymore. Seriously, how is this thing standing up? Mega Glalie whole thing is that it now has a mouth that never closes? What? Mega Salamence took a really cool Pokemon and turned it into a stubby-legged lizard with a croissant taped to its back. it is awful. And Mega Audino, of all the incredibly cool and or deserving Pokemon from Generation 5, you gave a Mega Evolution to Audino? They gave out one Mega Evolution to a Generation 5 Pokemon, and of all of them, they decided to give it to the Chansey replacement that no one cares about? Just think about all the amazing Gen 5 Pokemon that would have been better candidates to get a Mega Evolution. Zebstrika, Gigalith, Haxorus, Scolipede, Golurk, Sawsbuck, Excadrill, Zoroark, Archeops, and plenty more. If their goal was to add another feminine Mega Evolution, then they should have chosen a feminine Pokemon from a different generation that is more liked and more popular, like Frostlass to pair with Mega Glalie, or Roserade, or frickin' Milotic in the Hoenn region. Why choose Audino? I don't know. In short, Mega Audino's design is fine, I guess, but I hate it for existing. All right, rant over, now on to C tier. Mega Steelix's concept of the crystals jutting out of it and then orbiting it is pretty cool, but its shovel head throws me off. I understand that Mega Sharpedo is based on a sawfish, but it still looks goofy to me. Mega Camerup's oozing lava volcano is cool, but it only has one volcano, while its normal form has two. That doesn't make any sense, and I don't like it. Also, it looks like it's wearing a goofy skirt. Mega Diancie is alright, but I never liked Diancie much in the first place. I don't think it's bad, it just doesn't suit my personal taste. The B tier Megas, again, are ones that I don't really feel strongly about either way. They're fine, but just don't really stand out. I should mention Primal Kyogre is here, since while it's not technically a Mega, it is basically a Mega. I really like Kyogre, but since Primal Kyogre is just a more glowy version of regular Kyogre, I'm just neutral to it. I really like how well Mega Sableye's design conveys its mischievous personality. I really love this shot of it from an old ORAS trailer too. Primal Groudon is the exact same situation as Primal Kyogre, but I like Groudon more than Kyogre, so it's a tier higher. Mega Rayquaza is completely insane and really fun to destroy literally everything with, which is cool. I do still like regular Rayquaza more though. Mega Gallade is a great advancement of Gallade, making it look more like a valiant knight. They did a good job. Mega Beedrill is freaking fantastic. They took an alright looking bee/wasp thing and turned it into a fearsome and clearly extremely fast wasp of death. It looks like it could easily defeat you, which I love. And finally, Mega Sceptile, the mega version of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Obviously, I'm gonna love this thing. The extra sharpness to areas of its body looks awesome, and while its tail is a Christmas tree, it's also a weapon of deathly impalement. That's dope. Now on to the tier lists for legendary Pokemon, and yes, there's going to be several. Since there are so many legendary Pokemon, I have to split them up into their subcategories, otherwise they won't all fit. We'll start with the tier list for mythical Pokemon, which, yes, are a subcategory of legendary Pokemon, not a completely different category. The official Pokemon Twitter account confirmed this a little while back by referring to Deoxys as a legendary Pokemon, meaning I was right all along. We're also just gonna ignore the fact that they also claimed that water rock type Pokemon resist electric attacks, which really damages their credibility as a source, but hey, I'm gonna take my vindication wherever I can get it.
Vindication!
Fion's existence is pointless. Seriously. It is completely useless and has no need to exist. Hoopa is my least favorite legendary of all of them, due to how incredibly bad the Hoopa movie was, and how extremely annoying the Hoopa was in that movie. You've heard me say this before. Ale Hoopa ring. Shut up. All right, you get it. Arceus, oh, excuse me, Arceus, doesn't look godly enough in my opinion. I'm not sure really how I'd change it, but I feel like they could have created something more heavenly than a llama stuck in a fence. Meloetta is a fine looking Pokemon, but I don't like how it's this supposed creature of myth, yet is designed based on the human invention of music staffs. It makes no sense since Meloetta wasn't created by humans. Diancie, like I mentioned earlier, doesn't really suit my taste of Pokemon. It's got too much jewelry going on. Volcanions typing and concept are cool, but it just looks so strange and disproportionate. Magearna is a robot ballerina, which is just kind of whatever, I guess that's fine, but what bothers me is that it was the first Gen 7 Pokemon revealed to the public. They really should have picked something cooler. The B tier Pokemon are, surprise, all fine looking Pokemon that I have no strong feelings about. The A tier Pokemon are ones that are either really cool or really cute looking. Mew and Deoxys are probably my favorites of this tier since they have the most full lore and history to go along with them, at least from what I've experienced. While Shaman Sky is still technically Shaman, it's here because it's a drastic change from regular Shaman. This is something I will do for several other legendary Pokemon in the rest of this video. If their form change is a pretty drastic difference that possibly might alter my opinion, then they're gonna be separate entries. It is an extremely cool looking Pokemon and it gives off this great vibe of being a great pal and partner. Marshadow is my favorite mythical and favorite ghost type. It's adorable, has an awesome typing, has a really cool gimmick of hiding in the shadows, and it is extremely powerful. Just look up what its signature move, Spectral Thief, does. It is absurd. Now for the tier list of Ultra Beasts, which, whether or not they're legendary Pokemon, depends on who you ask. But since many consider them to be legendary Pokemon, I decided to include them here. It's probably immediately apparent from the layout of this tier list that, for the most part, I'm not very into UBs. In my opinion, they just look too weird or not enough like creatures. I understand that they are intentionally designed to look weird and strange and otherworldly, but that doesn't mean I have to like them. Buzzswole and Pheromosa are bug people, and they just look really disturbing. Xurkitree is wires and Christmas lights with no face. It just looks like an object. Celesteela's tiny head and neck really creep me out. Blacephalon is a clown with Dippin' Dots, I guess? It just looks goofy and weird. Nihilego is a cool concept, but I don't really like how it looks like it's a dress. Kartana is also an interesting concept, but I really think it should have had a face. Guzzlord is alright, but I feel like it just has too much going on. Stakataka is alright. While it being a building is a bit odd, at least it has eyes and can somewhat emote. Kinda like a Magnemite. Also, its name is pretty fun to say. Stakataka! Woo! Poibole and Naganadel are the top tier UBs, probably because they look like creatures, not faceless objects or disturbing people-animal hybrids. Their glowing eyes and body shapes are still able to convey that they're alien while keeping them looking relatable enough to look like something you could befriend. Poipole is adorable and Naganadel is badass. They're a great combo together and also have fantastic shinies. Now for the legendary Pokemon. Like with the Mega Evolutions, there are way too many to fit into one image, so I'm splitting them up into two tier lists. One for the legends from Gens 1 through 4, and another for the legends from Gens 5 through 7. We'll start with Gens 1 through 4. Zapdos looks like it's made of construction paper. Heatran looks goofy and has a weird mouth. Regigigas is expressionless and strange, and Slow Start is even more of a reason to ignore it. The Lake Guardians aren't bad looking Pokemon, but they aren't unique enough, both in regards to each other, but also to past legends. They just look like recolored Mews with more people-like heads. Palkia has a strange body shape. Like, seriously, how does it hold its neck up? Cresselia is just kinda boring to me. Again, all of the B tier Pokemon are ones that I'm pretty much neutral toward. However, it should be noted that the Regis would be lower tier if not for my strong positive nostalgia toward them. If you'd like to hear me explain that in more detail, I recommend watching my video about 10 Pokemon that I like that you probably hate. I talk about the Regis in that video. Moltres is a majestic fire phoenix, which is awesome. And it's the reason I picked Team Valor in Pokemon Go. And because my brother told me to since he downloaded the app 2 hours before me. Mewtwo is a classic and an epic force of nature. You can't dislike Mewtwo. Raikou is an electric saber-toothed tiger. That's dope. Ho-Oh's shiny is my favorite shiny of all legendaries, so of course I'm gonna like the regular one too. Kyogre is one of the mascots of my first Pokemon generation ever, and it's a really cool representative of the sea. Dialga is the mascot of my first Sinnoh game and was on my team for it. Dragon Steel is also a really cool typing, and I love its deep blue coloring. Lugia is freaking awesome, and I adored Pokemon the Movie 2000 as a kid. Latios is cool like Latios, but its design is sleeker, and it's my favorite color. Groudon was the first legendary I ever caught, and it just looks so cool. Rayquaza is my favorite legendary Pokemon. It's such a classic, formidable dragon. And my first Rayquaza back in Ruby was either the first or second Pokemon I ever got to level 100. I can't remember whether my very first Sceptile Blade or whether my very first Rayquaza was the first Pokemon I got to level 100. It's been too long. But I do know that one of them was first and the other one was second. And Giratina is a Pokemon that's really grown on me recently. I love the design of both its altered and origin forms, it's got an excellent shiny, and I loved using one on my team in the Metronome Nuzlocke I did with Pokemon 7. Now for the legendaries in Gens 5 through 7. While I understand the origin of the genies, that doesn't change the fact that they look like ugly men with weird hair sticking out of clouds. They're simply not good-looking Pokemon. Landorus Therian is also in D tier, both because it's Landorus's weird head on a tiger which looks strange, and because it was everywhere back in VGC when I played, which upset me. Tornadus Therian is a step up from regular Tornadus since I like the more animal-like body, but the head still looks too much like regular Tornadus. Kyurem is fine, but it just seems a bit dull to me. I get that it's supposed to be a husk, but that doesn't change that it still seems dull. I don't think Type Null's mask looks that great. The other Island Guardians look like little fairies, but Tapu Bulu looks like a strange bell with arms and a really tacky nose ring. Cosmoem is an eye that does nothing. There's not really much to be into. Necrozma suffers the same fate as most of the other UBs. It just looks too weird. The B tier Pokemon are the same story as all the other B tiers, so I don't need to say much about them. However, I do want to mention that Thundurus Therian is my favorite genie, since it distances itself the most from the original awkward man design. Cobalion is my favorite Sword of Justice, both because I have used it quite a bit and I adore its shiny. Yveltal, Yveltal, has grown on me due to all the fun references and memes surrounding the Pokemon Talk episode that focused on it.
Everyone, please give a warm welcome to Yveltal! Yveltal! What? My name is Yveltal!
Zygarde Complete Form is my favorite Zygarde form since it looks like an insane Decepticon, which is awesome. Tapu Koko is my favorite Island Guardian, since I love the electric typing and its mohawk. Tapu Fini is my second favorite Island Guardian, since I just think its design looks really good. I really like the swordfish shape of its shell. Solgaleo grew on me due to using one on my team in my first playthrough of Sun. Ultra Necrozma is a terrifying dragon of light, which is awesome. I should note that I did not include Duskmane or Dawnwing's Necrozma in this tier list because they just look too similar to Solgaleo and Lunala. Zekrom is a really badass looking electric dragon, which is of course awesome, and it also rocks the blue and black color scheme really well, which is my favorite color scheme. And finally, Xerneas is a majestic blue deer and a really unique representation of the fairy type. It was actually my favorite fairy type for a long time before Alolan Ninetales was introduced. So there we have it. There were some more of my Pokemon tier lists. I do plan to do more installments of this series, so let me know down in the comments below what other categories of Pokemon you'd like to see me make tier lists of. Also, if you enjoyed this video and want to watch some more of my fun Pokemon stuff, I recommend this video right here. Alright, that's all I have for now. So till next time, Poké fans, gotta catch them all!